Hello everyone, and now welcome to a 2v2 match taking place here on Withering Fields. We see SaysO and Jen spawning as the yellow team on the top right hand side of the map. Well, both sides are, or all four players have spawned as ORC. I really have no idea, how a 2-on-2 ORC mirror match will work like this. So there's Frogs here, and then finally, downside here we have ZLaY. So Frogs really playing under the name Fish, ZLaY down here. Meanwhile, off to the north, Jens and SaysO. Alright, so yellow ORC 1, B1, B2, B1 and B2. I'm sorry, bananas and pajamas. Alright, so O1 and O2 going up against... Yep. Okay, if I go yellow, if I go blue for blue, or do I want to go banana? I don't know. Gonna be interesting. We'll see how this particular game unfolds, as we are looking at a Farseer and a Shadow Hunter coming across from the yellow team. Meanwhile, it is a Blade Master. Don't tell me a Tauren Chieftain, that'd be weird. Tauren Chieftain and, or no, Farseer and Blade Master coming across from the blue team. Now, barracks, one barracks being placed down and a war mill. So oddly enough, it's the Blade Master who is going to be going for the Headhunters. You normally see this build much more in line with the Farseer. But I guess when your teammate is so close and you have a plan, you can work together. You can try and min-max it to the extreme here. One odd thing was that this Orc Burrow by ZLaY was started before this Orc Burrow by Frogs, especially since we should be looking at a very fast tech to tier 2. He's nowhere near worrying about being supply blocked yet. So yeah, ZLaY perhaps, if you watch any of my videos and you're doing this 2v2 strategy, you could have tech to tier 2 faster and then built this burrow. And you know, that tech to tier 2 rush would just be just that, a little bit faster. Misha the bear, 475 hit points, the level 1 bear pretty much. Blade Master now going after this bear again, and the bear taking all the damage that it can take, as the Farseer getting in a little bit of harassment as well. So Jen's pushing pressure onto this Farseer here. Meanwhile, off to the north, Shadow Hunter taking a little bit of damage. We can see a communal voodoo lounge being placed down as well. Teching already at a quarter of the way up. It does not, nope, SaysO just now getting started with that tech to tier 2. And, well, we are off to the races. All right, Blade Master, Mirror Image, purposely going to pull back here, perhaps waiting for some additional Headhunters. This Farseer is just playing this harassment game. And with this harassment game, just, well, trying to harass, obviously. All right, Headhunter's going to go ahead and poke apart that Kobold Geomancer first. That Kobold Geomancer does apply that always very annoying slow, as the Blade Master of, well, Blade Master Illusion taking far too much damage. All right, so the Illusion was taking far too much damage, as the Blade Master, Kobold Taskmaster, still running around. All right, both sides just essentially trying to be able to creep in peace, and both sides have not been able to do that. All heroes not named the Farseer now level 2, as Jen's, well, taking, or still staying at level 1 after, well, stopping the harassment of ZLaY. All right, Blade Master looking to finish up that Kobold Taskmaster right there, does pick up a Pendant of Energy, and now will make its way back. Tech to tier 2 nearly done. We are getting up a War Mill. Are we going to be trying to go for a Bestiary? That is the question here, as the dual Overlords, Vampiric Ore, that's quite a bit. There's a Howl of Terror being thrown down as well, as the Farseer is trying to get some damage onto those Headhunters. Headhunter, Healing Wave, bouncing around. Grunt now trying to retreat back. Those Spirit Wolves are just feeding experience now to ZLaY and SaysO. As the Overlord, who's going to get that last shot in? That is going to be the question. Can the Farseer get it? Yes, this Farseer does in fact get it. ZLaY's will be forced to back away again. Potion of Greater Healing for that Shadow Hunter. Even more survivability. Coming back through, Headhunters doing a little bit of a dance, lower hit point units trying to retreat back. We see a Blood Wizard. Well, yeah, not something that you see very often. A Bloodlusted Mage right there. Fast attacking speed, level 3 now on the Blade Master. A little bit perhaps more healing across these other units as the Farseer well, tries to find here a Blade Master. Farseer going to spot here. There's a mirror image, and here we are. Here we go. Going to go ahead into that engagement. All right, one thing to note, if you do use mirror image, be very careful how you move your Blade Master. Your Blade Master is still often hotkeyed, so if you cast your mirror image and suddenly two of the Blade Masters stand still while one starts to move, that obviously looks like the culprit. That obviously looks like the main unit there. Blade Master still doing a little bit of a chase. SaysO does pick up a Pit Lord second, oddly enough. A Howl of Terror or Cleave or Rain of Fire, all of that, well, could be of play here. Blade Master, well, there's some damage. Healing Wave bouncing around. Are we going to see a critical strike? No, we are not. Just trying to get in front of that, grunt as the mirror image falls, giving level 3 to the Shadowhunter. Blade Master, the real Blade Master, trying to go after, not going to be able to do it very well. Needs to get away, doesn't have boots of speed, just trying to walk out of there the old-fashioned way. As we see, well, ZLaY now get a Tauren Chieftain. All right, Shadowhunter. So the blue team has gone for one of every Orc hero, and it does not look like a Blade Master is coming in from SaysO. So maybe SaysO is going to be missing a Blade Master, as we see. Well, yeah, obviously, because we have a Pit Lord. So we have Pit Lord, Shadowhunter, Tauren Chieftain, Farseer, no Blade Master yet. Farseer summoning up those wolves. Well, gonna try and clear out these creep camps easily and efficiently. Meanwhile, the Pit Lord, well, already a very tanky level 1 hero. Add in all of these items, and the Pit Lord is just gonna like slice and dice into those positions, dealing damage, and also having a potion of greater healing, and also having the Shadowhunter's healing wave. Well, could spell good things. There is another Ring of Protection. Oh, sells the Scroll of the Beast, picks up an additional Claws of Attack +5. Perhaps add in an Orb of Lightning a little bit later if we do go to tier 3 on at least one of these sides. Alright, SaysO clearing things up. Ooh, Tauren Chieftain also going to be a frontline hero. Doesn't have the armor yet, but does allow that Pit Lord to attack slightly faster with that endurance aura. Both sides, well, or sides currently clearing out creep camps. There goes a red creep camp there. What was the item dropped? Medallion of Courage +5 to Strength and Intelligence. Well, not necessarily the best item for that Blade Master, but, well, more mirror image, more hit points, not necessarily more damage. Coming back through. All right, so the Pit Lord is actually taking the place of the Blade Master as the front line high damage unit, and it may work out well. There's Howl of Terror across all of these units. There's Rain of Fire, so maybe the map is just calling for the Pit Lord, since we see so many of its abilities already. Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 2, Pit Lord backing away. Tauren Chieftain perhaps wanting to get to level 3. If it opens up level 2 Stomp, if it opens up level 2 Stomp, then perhaps that will allow Jens and the yellow Orc team to, well, start the battle with a crazy advantage. However, gonna be shy of level 3. Are we gonna see a Scroll of Town Portal to head back home? There's one, there's two. As well, we already saw some knocking on the front door. Pit Lord, well, is picked up by Frogs as well. So Frogs has that Blade Master, but also has a Pit Lord. Shadowhunter, a plethora of mana right now, 380 mana out of 500. So could have a large amount of healing waves. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that Shadowhunter. Getting to level 3 could be very impactful. All right, only one creep camp really available on the map right now. It looks like it's going to get cleared out by the orange team. Shadowhunter, Blade Master, Kodo Beast, was there a there's got to have been a purge somewhere. Not quite sure where the purge. Oh, there's a shaman there. There's a purge. Yuna's trying to retreat back, but the shaman, well, can easily get taken down. There's a purge onto that pit lord again. Pit lord trying to retreat back. That shaman, well, has to be very careful. A lot of damage. There is another a bit of damage here. Tauren Chieftain, both sides are going to try to engage here, but, well, fighting by yourself, Frogs is going to be in a little bit of trouble. There's the Blade Master, well, forcing a scroll of Town Portal. One shaman trying to stay alive long enough, but no, not going to be able to do it. All right. Tiny Great Hall by ZLaY. Meanwhile, Taurens are out on the battlefield for ZLaY as well. So this was a very fast tech to tier 3 for Taurens. And interestingly enough, Tauren in this battle, because there isn't extreme magic damage in the fight, these Taurens are going to be able to absorb quite a bit of damage. All right. Are we going to try and engage here? All right, units are looking to engage. And here we are, Tauren Chieftain going to try and push down both sides, mirror image, ensnares. Well, a couple damage here. Stasis traps not getting thrown down. Howl of Terror across multiple units. So even with bonus damage, it's only +3 right now. As the Tauren trying to back away, it's going to get taken down. There it goes. We do see a stasis trap as the Tauren Chieftain now trying to back away as well, down to 180 hit points. Both sides, that is a lot of stuns going back and forth, and there's a resurrected Tauren right there, but is he going to be able to stick around for far that long? One bounce back Tauren as he tries to retreat away compared to everything else here, as the Taurens are now still looking to fall back here. All right. Healing Wave bouncing around again. We're looking at a bit of a fight. Kodo Beast, well, Hungry Kodos could try and, well, munch down on some of those units, as we're looking at still another stomp coming across from ZLaY. So ZLaY getting in a good stomp, but that was only the level 2 stomp variety. Pit Lord does get taken down. Resurrection on another Tauren, or resurrection on another Tauren, as we're looking at the Tauren Chieftain now trying to push in even further. All right, units trying to retreat all the way back. We see some healing wards being placed down as well, but the ranged attackers of the Berserkers able to do their thing. Both sides have healing wards. Both sides have stasis traps, and it's a matter of, well, who is using it better? Pit Lord falls at level 3. Now Jen's now being forced to retreat back here. We're looking at a little bit more, well, resurrection on the Taurens again, as the Tauren Chieftain falls back here. Shadow Hunter using the, well, quick get out of jail free card there. I believe that's a Tauren.
Player's forces are under attack.
All right. Wards being placed down across the field. SaysO setting up an expo there. This expo already has been mining for a little bit of time, but has not been fully saturated, so only operating at 80% capacity. Well, as I say that, ZLaY recognizes the problem and is going to go ahead and correct it. All right.
Forces are under attack.
Fortress, spiked barricades here. We're going to see a little bit of easy fighting. Stasis traps are down, and units going to try and retreat back here. All right, level 3 on that Pit Lord, level 1 on the opposing Pit Lord. We're going to see some traps go off, and we're going to see a bit of a stunning battle. There's a stun already. Are we going to see follow up with another stun as the units are trying to fight their way through? Well, the Pit Lord really needs to find its way onto all of those Berserkers and really try and see if he can take them down without dying. And that is the key there. Level 1 Pit Lord falling once more for the blue team. Repairs are underway. All right, Tauren now trying to fall back again. A healing ward, stasis traps. Well, keeping these high hit point Taurens constantly regenerated. You're looking at just constant regeneration, and since it's percentage-based healing, that 1,300 hit points does add up to be quite a bit. All right, units trying to fall back again. Are we going to see some more healing wards? No, we do not. New witch doctors need to be placed down. Remember, witch doctors are extremely mana intensive, and with no mana regeneration, well, their abilities may not be able to cast it far often enough. Healing ward currently, well, regenerating a good amount here. More Berserkers trying to retreat back. Berserker versus Berserker battle, and the Shamans get taken down because of their armor. All right, blue sticking around. They're going to get a little bit of a heal here. Meanwhile, Gens, well, I believe that is a yellow. Oh, resurrecting another Tauren, getting it back out onto the battlefield. I don't like the flare. The timing on the flare is like it's at its brightest like 5 seconds after the spell has been cast. All right, Berserkers are down here on the battlefield. Tauren Chieftain, Jen's now placing down a couple more stasis traps as well. They're going to be pushing their way through. Jen, SaysO trying to get a wall of stasis traps to bait their opponent and then finish off units, but it just hasn't been working out as he would expect. All right, Kodo Beast out here on the battlefield. They're going to see some fighting here. Tauren Chieftain, there's that stasis trap, and is going to be enough. Tauren falls, level 4 now on the Tauren Chieftain, and without that endurance aura bonus, well, all of these other units are attacking much more slowly and also retreating more slowly. Chain Lightning bouncing around, and a Berserker able to finish off another Tauren there. The javelin that broke the Tauren's back, as both sides are still fighting their way through. Tauren Chieftain now being forced to back up again. Well, Tauren gets knocked down and gets back up again. We're seeing level 3 Shadow Hunter here. Still a bit more pressure as the falling back and then fighting in the narrow corridors against a bunch of ranged units. That's what happened right there. Now here comes a question. Does Rain of Fire actually make more sense than the Pit Lord with Cleave? You can see all of these Berserkers here. If you just get within Rain of Fire range, would that have been a better call? Shadow Hunter somehow stays alive. Healing Wave bouncing off himself just in time, and they're still able to continue to fight. So dual Shadow Hunters are right here. Farseer gets stunned. He gets taken down. Farseer goes in a bit too far and falls in at level 3 again. And still, the yellow team is retreating, but it is a tactical retreat. They're able to focus their damage onto those leading charge units and then take them down. So retreating right here and then allowing only 2 or 3 units to actually fall so that you can poke them apart. All right, we should be looking at a resurrection on that soon. Tauren Chieftain now, well, trying to hide off to the side again. Does have a potion of healing. There's another healing ward, providing much of that healing again. All right, Blade Master of Frogs being forced to retreat back. ZLaY, is he going to go ahead and retreat back as well? I believe so, but a lot of those peons are now down. All right, looking at more pressure. Are we going to see a purge? Nope, not needed. ZLaY going to tactically retreat with all of those units and now head back home. All right, one gung-ho shaman walks into an unfriendly encounter of a bunch of berserkers and easily gets taken down. Now, Jens does have an expansion off to the north. This expansion here has not been taken here on Withering Fields. And interestingly enough, SaysO is still just staying at tier 2. He hasn't gone heavy into tier 3. There's that fortress on both sides there. Now, also, perhaps what are the upgrades look like? 1-0 upgrades on the Berserkers, 0-1 upgrades on those Raiders here. What about the Tauren? Well, Tauren 0-0. We're going to be looking at an engagement. Voodoo Lounge trying to get a little bit of a home field advantage. There's a stasis trap already. Bloodlusted units going to go ahead and engage. And here we are. Here we go. Stasis traps are down. A couple of stunned Taurens already out here on the battlefield. There goes a stomp here. And this Tauren Chieftain is kind of stuck, but he's actually not in too bad of a position. He's in that frontline spot, has a lot of scrolls of healing and an invul potion as well. May need be forced to use that invul potion early. And they're just fighting around a tree. This is seemingly okay as more Tauren are popping back up. There's another stasis trap. Tauren Chieftain needs a little bit more mana. He's going to get a healing wave. He's going to get a stomp down. Scroll of Healing has been used already, still has the invul potion, and yellow is just holding off this army fairly well. Too many healing wards to figure out whose is whose, and you're just trying to get into position. Tauren Chieftain now getting up to level 5. I believe it is going to be level 3 Endurance Aura, not even level 3 Stomp, level 3 Endurance Aura for the faster attack. There's a deny there amongst all of that as we see the stasis trap go down again. Tauren, well, still getting a little bit more experience. Potion of Healing still has a Scroll of Healing as well. Taurens are just popping up back out of the ground after they get taken down. And is this going to result into a very high-level heroes? I believe so. Each time they're taken down, they do give experience. And then, well, they're just brought back up again. So over and over. Blade Master, oh! down to 109 hit points, able to escape away. Tauren Chieftain able to walk back at 28 hit points as they're still doing a little bit of engaging there. There goes another Tauren as well. Pit Lord trying to chase after. There's a Hex onto a Tauren. Is he going to be able to get out? It does not look good. That's a lot of other low hit point Taurens there, but pursuit is not made. That pursuit would not have been trivial. A lot of low hit point. I'm trying. Is that trying too hard? Or is that clever, right? Like sometimes, I don't know, like, oh, that's clever. Oh, that's trying too hard. And then for others, they'll be like, I don't get it. Alright, coming back through, more Taurens getting resurrected over and over. This is one of those situations, if any side actually got Khaggar's pipe. Whoa, that was a jump in zoom. And then when I scrolled out once, it like zoomed back out way too far. One Khaggar's Pipe of Insight would provide so much mana to all of these units and really start tipping the favors. All right, blue on the move, being able to push forward. This is a very big deal here. It doesn't look like the yellow team was ready for this onslaught or this pressure. Units are trying to retreat back out. Level 5 now on the Pit Lord. Pit Lord with plus a 23 damage, even with a Howl of Terror, still on the positive side as the Pit Lord trying to retreat back here. Pit Lord finally escapes away at 169 hit points. Both sides fighting their way through. There's going to be some healing as the Tauren of Taurens of Gens going to be in position. All right, Pit Lord getting hexed. He's going to get taken down. No, he's trying to retreat back. We're going to see some more damage. Healing wave right there, and that Pit Lord is able to escape again. So high hit point units getting healed with healing wards means fast regeneration over time, and well, it means that they're constantly in that dead zone or dead. All right, Pit Lord finally falls at level 5, and we're looking at a little bit of poking as the blue team finally seems like they've made their way through and have been able to finish that front line. More gold is being mined right now. We're looking at Frog setting up that expansion. This one Tauren off over on the side, disrupting the mining. So suddenly we see Gens and SaysO completely out of gold. And well, when you're out of gold, when you don't have the economy, you can't produce your numbers or sustain your numbers as you lose units in battle. I believe the tipping point has been reached. It was really strong holds by SaysO and Gens for quite a while, but somehow Frogs and ZLaY was able to break through, and it now has the economic advantage. All right, that Pit Lord wants to make its presence back known again out here on the battlefield. More Witch Doctors getting added in here. Taurens knocking on this Orc burrow, taking down all of those peons as well. Voodoo Lounge going to get cleaned up. All right, ZLaY with a level 4 Farseer and a level 3 Tauren Chieftain. Meanwhile, Frogs or Fish, level 5 Blade Master, level 4 Shadow Hunter, level 3 Pit Lord, and kind of just lying in wait, ready for SaysO to make a mistake. Now, the longer this game goes, the better it will be currently for the blue team, since there is that stronger economy. Gens only has peons, a group of peons mining over here on the top left. They need to come over here to try and reinforce, but they also need to try and perhaps grab this gold mine to get back into the game economically.
A player's forces are under attack.
All right. Well, one peon walking a little bit too far. Oh, wow. That's going to get cleaned up there. Units trying to fall back again. Now, I like this play by Frogs. Oh, wow. There's another creep camp here. Okay, I couldn't see it on the minimap. I like this play by, Fish and ZLaY are not rushing things. They know that they have the economic advantage, and they want to try and hold it and maintain it. However, they are going to lose a pair of Berserkers here, and that's going to give more hero levels once more. There's a Stomp. There's some Stasis Traps already starting things off as we see, a 2-on-1 fight here. Or it looks like a 2-on-1 fight. SaysO and, yeah, SaysO's army, the Gens army is here. It's just the army is just that much smaller. Gen's going to throw down another Stomp, and if you can chain the Stomps with the Stasis Traps, perhaps that could be enough. All right, so Tauren Chieftain, I'm going to throw down, perhaps try to throw down some more stomps again. Taurens are coming back up after getting knocked down. So much stunning, so much healing. Healing ward, stasis traps, stomps, howl of terrors, and then just constant resurrection. Light from the heavens, constantly bringing back up Tauren again and again, over and over. We see a lot of heroes here. ZLaY gonna make its way back over, perhaps try and get to level 4. Does get to level 4, level 2 endurance aura finally for the blue team. Is this gonna be enough to continue pushing forward, as we're gonna be looking at a handful? Wow, come on. That low hit point Tauren finally getting taken down again and again. All right, Tauren getting resurrected to take down another Tauren here, as the yellow team is looking to pull back. What is that? Well, Pit Lord of Frogs gonna get taken down. So Pit Lord down. Fish losing that Pit Lord there, and now the blue army is still pressuring very heavily. Is there enough units here? Jen's going to perhaps throw down a stomp. There's no lightning shield, though, but the cleave on SaysO's Pit Lord really slicing and dicing through a lot of those units, and that's going to give level 6 to the Tauren Chieftain. The Pit Lord and Tauren Chieftain combination really working out a bit of wonders here, as the Tauren Chieftain may be able to throw down another stomp. Yes, does throw down another stomp. Still has a little bit of mana with a potion of mana to try and follow things up here, and he's just going to continue to try and slice his way through. Meanwhile, that Pit Lord falls. Pit Lord of the other team falls at level 5. The yellow Pit Lord falls at level 5, and now suddenly all of these low hit point backline units don't have to worry nearly as much. We're looking at another Tauren falling there. Tauren Chieftain knows that he can't really get in the necessary damage, as both sides go to their respective corners. SaysO doing this walk of shame against the neighboring gold mine, trying to get some gold there. Oh! Tauren Chieftain, the blue Tauren Chieftain, getting knocked out right at the last moment. ZLaY unable to save the Scroll of Town portal, a split-second difference there. And yellow, once more, even though they were at a disadvantage, able to get some lasting damage against blue. Is that going to be enough, though? That is the question. 37 supply, 34 supply, going up against 66 and 48. Blues, it seems like yellow got in a couple of good jabs right before that round ended, so to speak. But in the long term, blue should still have enough to dive on in here. SaysO, well, there's a stomp onto the unit there. We're looking at the Shadow Hunter trying to get away. There's another Hex. Blues, however, going to come back in from the other side. Blademaster comes across. Fish is going to be able to slice and dice, deal a lot of damage. Bladestorm versus Bladestorm. Who's coming out on top? One Blademaster, I believe. Did he fall? No. Difficult to keep track. It could have been a mirror image. I thought two Blademasters were just slicing and dicing their way through, but a very good flank, getting a lot of a good semi-arc around the yellow army, and then just being able to engage very well. All right, Pit Lord trying to retreat back here. Blademaster has his eyes set. Healing Wave going to bounce around. Healing Ward continuing to offer in support as the Tauren trying to pulverize their way and take down some of these Spirit Walkers. All right, more units taken out again. We're looking at Gens perhaps going to lose the only real mining that they have going on for them right now, and that is going to further put them behind the 8 ball. And with that gone, it's going to be 2 bases to 0 as that stronghold is gone there. Chain Lightning bouncing around. SaysO leaves. Gens leaves the game, and ZLaY and Fish able to walk away with the victory. Let me know what you guys thought about this crazy quad orc 2v2 battle. A lot of resurrection, a lot of stasis traps, a lot of healing wards. I think in this one game, I saw more healing wards, more stasis traps, and more Taurens getting brought back than I saw in all of 2024 and 2023 combined. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.